Brought to you by Gattacar and Land, bringing you news from Star Wars: The Old Republic and beyond. Join us
You ready?
as we explore
Got
the
it this time?
universe and take down the Republic. The galaxy not so far away.
There we go. Now we've got everything figured out. Actually, had a little bit of trouble with Pamela. Apparently, she enjoyed the little vacation break too much. But it's been 2 weeks since our last podcast, guys. Sorry for the long break, but we did have a nice collection of holidays there and had family time to enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed your time with your families or with your games, depending on which one you decide to choose your weekends and holidays with. I know what I chose to spend my time with, mostly games. But we've also been working in the background, trying to get together with White Sword and decide finally on a name for the podcast. And I think Name in Progress will probably end up being the one we go with, just because I enjoy the irony of it, and it kind of fits for some of the games that we do play, that we have something a little bit not so generalized. Kevin didn't like the idea of carrying over the SithTalk name into SithTalk 2.0 beyond SWOTOR. I think it's kind of a long podcast name, but we could have shortened it up.
I don't mind redoing the intro again.
Yeah. But for now, we're going to go with Name in Progress, and maybe fix it up from there. But for the time being, that's what we went with. But we have a fair amount of news. We've had a lot of stuff change, a lot of interesting state-of-the-game news that came across the boards while we were on hiatus, as well as an interesting crowd control article from Darth Hader, a new patch, which, of course, for Star Wars means more gear, more purchasable gear and more purchasable options. In effect, a few minor changes to the game in and of itself, with corrections and updates. But 1.6.2 was a rather large patch. Myself, I've gotten a fair amount of game time in. I've actually spent most of it doing PvP and emptying my banks, which has been a rather lucrative option for me with the few things that I have purchased myself through the little gift boxes, whatever you want to call them. Because I went and I bought another $20 or so worth of boxes, so I could see if I could get some more free shit. And I didn't get good free shit like I was hoping for mounts. I didn't get any good mounts. What I did, however, get was a lot of purple gear, which on the auction house is selling for retarded prices. So I want to thank everyone who doesn't buy the boxes for spending all of your in-game credits on my account. My alts are loving you for their advanced abilities, whether it be the bumped up XP or the fact that I've maxed out a few more trade skills. All of those I thank you all for. Thank you for spending 600 to 1,000 credits on the crap I bought in a box for $5. One thing I will have to bring up is I've seen obviously more credit spammers. Credit spammers are not necessarily getting the vibe of Star Wars. $15 for 1,000 credits seems a bit wonky to me, since I can fart and 1,000 credits fall out.
Right.
And when you guys are buying stuff for 600,000 credits, my $5 for 600,000 credits is way better pricing. I'm sad that they said. I'm not really sad, but it's funny that they didn't catch on.
Right.
But we've had 2 weeks off. We've got a little bit of stuff to share with you from the world of Star Wars as far as our in-game situations. Then, of course, we've got a fair amount from the news. And, once again, the reiteration of this weekend being our first recording of Name in Progress. So we're going to get that one out to you guys. And we'll remind you that Name in Progress is not only a gaming podcast, but it's kind of a gaming and social podcast. It in effect is SithTalk 2.0. It's all the stuff we'd love to talk to you about, or love for you to hear us talk about when we're actually just shooting the shit in Vent or in other games.
Yeah.
Want to impede on your Star Wars time as it is. But want to remember to make sure we tell you about our main sponsor, the one that we still have an account with, which is audibletrial.com/SithTalk. That'll get you a free 30 days of Audible, a free book, a good chance to get a feel for the great sales that they have there over at Podomatic, or at Audible. Podomatic. But I myself, I haven't picked up any new books. However, I am, for the third time, I want to say, re-listening to the Mark Tufo series that I talked about previously, because I keep picking up on different things that I hadn't noticed, inconsistencies. And it was actually funny. One of the, I guess, kind of side characters, Miss No, they in book 1, 2, 4, and 5, she's known as Miss No, but in book 3, for some odd reason, she becomes Miss Devereaux. Still talking about the same old crotchety bitch, but
new person, new name.
Yeah, completely different. It's real weird. And I actually noticed a few inconsistencies in book 5 too, which kind of caught me off guard. But it's okay. Books are not perfect, but your imagination can be. And Audible will definitely, bump up your imagination and get your mind flowing. I myself don't get into self-help books. I find it to be a kind of a double entendre, because self-help, well, if you were looking for help and you're already helping yourself, why'd you buy the book? You could have just done. But whatever. Now, as far as in-game time goes, Lanyard, I know yours has been kind of scant. As a matter of fact, you're playing as we're recording.
Yep. Doing it right now. And I'm getting my butt chewed up because PvP sucks now. Let's see, they've gone through all 3 doors in 2 minutes. So it's just pathetic. But whatever. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I've been playing other games. Of course, holidays came up and was away from the computer, and in fact I was at my parents' for the Christmas holiday, and they don't even have internet, well, proper internet. I log in and I'm playing right now. I did went ahead and go get, so I haven't got hooked on phonics, but I went ahead and got the expansion, paid,
pre-order.
Yeah, the pre-order expansion. I'm hoping that there's, they're talking about adding 5 more levels, which, fine, that's great. But they're only talking 1 planet, which kind of silly, because 1 planet 5 levels. So that now they just got through the shield. Screw it. We might as well just fucking let them walk into the door. Anyway, So I bought the expansion so I can get the 5 free days ahead of time, and probably level up my characters within those first 5 days, because if there's only 1 planet, it doesn't seem like the story's going to be very long. But anyway, that's what I've done in this world of Star Wars so far.
Yeah, on my side, I've actually gotten in and done a lot of PvP. I keep hoping as the weeks progress that it somehow, some way, they'll get people will get a click onto the new program or the new PvP match. I was in there the other day on Hot Chocolate. He's getting closer to level 30, which makes me happy because I'm slow leveling him and pretty much staying away from his storyline so I can enjoy it all at once, more or less. And I was dumbfounded, really, to get in there and not feel like anybody, like half the team would run and they'd capture an objective, but they would forget to get the little data, they forget to activate the data cores. And the data cores are the big thing, because if you activate them, if you have enough people in to activate them, you actually get more power to the generators, and your damage goes up. Whereas if you go and capture the 2 objectives, yes, you do get more. You get more overall damage, but your team gets points off of the data cores, and you take the chance of wiping yourself, which means that after the blast is done, the other team can just split, grab them again, and run back in. Which would definitely suck, because it takes like 3 blasts to win that way. There are 2 blasts, I think it was, to win that way, and 3 blasts to win the other way. But it's funny that it's been 2 weeks since that PvP match came out, and nothing's changed with the way they respond to it. Now, I did delve into the holiday stuff. I wasn't at all interested in the festive robes. I did get the redneck lawnmower. Redneck snowblower mount. I absolutely love that one. I was riding around on Fleet with it the other day, and And if he goes, your mount's blowing smoke, and no, that's snow. That's snow, but it's snow. And he goes,
well,
why is it blowing snow?
Yeah, it's only blowing snow if you're on a snow planet, man. If anywhere else, it's just blowing smoke.
Well, and then of course, as I told Anya before the show, my account had lapsed because I've been logging in and out infrequently. Mainly because I've got a lot of friends that are playing with me on a couple other games that are non-MMO, and so I logged in the other day, and I'm like, why in the fuck does it say I have 8 too many people? Then I'm like, well, I had a bunch of shit on auction. Let me check how my auctions did. I collect my mail on Rakut, and it says you have 670,000 credits in escrow. The fuck? I don't remember investing in a Star Wars CD. What is this shit? And then I realized after a couple of minutes that my account had, boiled over, and I'm like, oh, shit. So I went and renewed my account again because I wanted all my money and because I like playing Star Wars. So I jumped on, and I'm like, okay, now I've got all my money, sent all that over to Hot Chocolate, so now he's got the maximum XP bumps on flashpoints and PvP. I still don't see the point in class mission XP. I tried to figure that one out because your class missions don't make up a lot of the missions you do on each planet. You've got maybe 5 or 6 class missions, and then the rest of it's just world missions.
Well,
so,
the thing is, though, is when you're running free to play, you don't get any experience bonuses. You don't get the whatever it's called, the time logged off experience. Yeah. You don't get right, and it only gives you half of your normal experience points. And apparently, they also make it so that you're absolutely shit at PvP.
No, that came naturally for you.
Yeah, no, it's this. Well, ever since they fucked PvP up, it's just been almost. Anyway, so no, you just don't get the experience that you would normally as a free to play player. So.
But see, that was in the system before they announced the free to play, which I thought about buying it before, but I only do class missions after I've pretty much gotten beyond the level of each planet, so that I can just go in and enjoy the story. I don't have to actually worry about whether or not I'm successful or repeating a certain boss and stupid stuff like that.
Right.
So it was an oddball, but I was like, nah, not buying that. I did look into buying another HK-51 for one of my lobies, but then I remembered once again the gear that it spawns with doesn't quite
doesn't level
mesh, so he'd be running around as if he was naked anyway, so it was pointless. I didn't get into any ops. None of my ops buddies were on. There were some adverts for ops, but I was more wholly consumed with just running PvP on Hot Chocolate and trying to get him leveled up. I enjoy playing on him. I want to get to 40 on him so I can get his AoE heal. That is definitely a detrimental thing for me, because while the heals are fine, having an AoE heal would be helpful, even if it is just splash healing. And that's... I mean, I did invest a lot of money in boxes, and I really got to stop doing it. Because every time I log in, I'm just like, oh, there's something I could get in a box. Well, let me roll a chance on that.
They got you, buddy. They got you fucking screwed.
That's the way I am on every game, though. If I can purchase in-game stuff and it's something that I think might be cool, I do it. When free-to-play launched, I bought the 2 Grimoire axes for one of my dual-wielding Sentinel, or my Guardian, whatever the hell her class is, because I thought it would be cool to have axes. When I buy weapons, I don't necessarily think about the weapons that my characters are going to use that you drop mods in, because the mods only end up being good until you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
And like at 50, there are some weapons that you can't even remod once you bought them. Like I bought a couple of Ricotta pieces, a couple of black hole pieces, and there's no extra mods. Like you can't change out armorings. You just have to hope that the numbers they gave you were right. Now, I too pre-ordered, not because of the 5 levels or the new planet, but because it was $5 for a subscriber, so I saw no reason not to check it out. I am interested in seeing what they do with the new planet. It is kind of odd that you get 5 levels
and one planet.
Yep. Because playing with Kiwi, I've seen how he's gotten to 50, and he never even gets Corellia.
Right.
You know, he's literally doing every mission on every planet, and as a pay-to-play person, doing every mission on every planet, you end up getting to the max level about a planet early at best.
Yeah.
If not sooner, depending on whether or not you're PvPing in between. So if you're PvPing and doing your planetary missions, you're going to hit that 55 mark a lot sooner. I do think it's odd because on the way to 50, there were several planets you were literally there from 2, maybe 3 levels. Yeah. So getting 5 levels on one planet, it seems like that's going to be a very densely populated planet.
Well, that's the fact that is that they're only introducing one planet.
Yeah.
I mean, big, huge storyline for the Hutt Cartel and one planet, which probably means it's going to be like, come on.
I'm going to guess that there's some bounce arounds, like where they're going to send us back. They're going to send us into space missions, not space missions, but ship missions. Because at the end or middle of every planet, or damn near every planet, my bounty hunter ended up going off into some space mission, or some mission where I had to dock with another thing. So there's little side items that are probably going to be in there. One of the things they were talking about, and I'll cover it more in the news. They actually were talking about how they're slowly but surely trying to make PvP organic, which I think is funny, because I've yet to find a game where I ever felt world PvP was organic, like you're supposed to battle it out for certain things.
Oh.
The closest, and it's a consistent item that I talk about is Winter's Grasp.
Yeah.
That was the only time that PvP felt organic and necessary.
Yeah.
Because
everywhere else you can avoid it.
Right, and you had a raid inside of a PvP zone.
Yeah.
You were only able to pick or mine these specific things or harvest or certain things because you owned the zone. You could go there and try, but you wouldn't be able to attain certain items because it wasn't yours. Well, there was also the fact that you couldn't get into the particular boss fights because it wasn't your zone.
Right. Well, Warcraft tried it with Cataclysm by when they screwed up the zones by introducing little PvP areas to give you a buff for that zone, whoever owned that area. Right. Well, the problem was that nobody ever went to those areas anymore because you could just skip over everything. And so even if the people that wanted to play in those areas went to do it, there was never enough of anybody to do anything. So those areas were just it was a complete fail.
Are you referencing the what is it? It was you're talking about the Outlands with controlling the 3 outposts, or?
Well, there was that with BC, but when Cataclysm came out and they broke the world apart, there was actually low-level PvP zones where, like in southern Barrens, you had a place where you went in and you had to capture a flag or turn a flag to Horde or Alliance, right? And if you held that flag for a certain amount of time, you got a buff, kind of like what they did in BC with the 2 flags at Zangarmarsh. Same thing they did with BC, where the place you were talking about.
Yeah.
So they tried that again to give that organic feel, because everybody that's working in this area gets a buff, and that buff increases, your power or your damage or your XP.
Your XP and rep and everything.
Right. So, but nobody would do it because you could skip over all those zones. Now, with Star Wars, you really can't do as much skipping over in some areas. I mean, you can kinda, but because it's pretty limited to where you can go. I mean, like you were saying before, you can get a couple of levels up, and you get onto the next planet and you do like 2 things. You just do your class missions and you're out of there. But then there is a point where you get to, like I used to always get, I would always end up getting to Alderaan, and I can't go past that, or I'd get to Tatooine because I'm way too early, so I had to do some of the local stuff. So I mean, that they do have that kind of, trimmed in, which is nice. Unlike WoW, where you could pretty much just sit in town and do the looking for group and completely level to 85 without ever leaving Ogremeyer. So, yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm doing now.
Yeah, well, I tried that with Zuzu, but it was it seemed like it was taking for fucking ever,
Yeah, Q-Pop's definitely longer run.
Yeah, and now it's even worse with the Tomb, because now he's on the free-to-play, and I get like 1/10 of the experience for everything. I mean, I've been level 30 now for months, and I've got 4 bars left, you know, 4 full bars left of 30, and I mean, it's quite literally taking forever. I don't even remember what the I don't remember what the experience I just got. I think it was like half the experience for that battle. And we lost, so I probably got, what, 25 experience points? Woo!
But, I mean, I'm still having fun in Star Wars, but I have wasted a ton of money. But what I did was I knew I wasn't going to be making gear for any of my characters anytime soon, so I'm kind of stacking the high-end mats and rifling through my low-end mats quite frequently. So whenever I send people out for scavenging or base remissions, I flip them over to the auction house to make a good profit. And I do and I don't miss farming. Farming on another planet actually screws somebody out of XP, so I don't want to go to a planet and just farm that way. Because to get biomaterials, you have to kill something and have it, harvest it that way. The only one I think that, I don't think there's really anyone that you don't have to kill something.
Yeah.
Unless you find a node, in which case you don't have to. But it's not as interesting to me to do it that way as it is just to have one of my 6, 7 companions now, just run out and do it for me. So I let them go and do their job.
So you can afford that.
Well, I'm not money bags. I have a little over $1 million on my account, but that's far from money bags at this point.
Yeah.
You can easily blow 1 million credits just picking up a couple of high-end armorings at this point. So, but Dad's Rakat's geared out, so I'm not worried about him. And him and Naga and Noli pretty much just PvP now. I do ops on them, of course, but I PvP heal on Rakat, which is a lot more fun than PvP damage was as Arsenal. Somebody was like, "Oh, well, you should go Pyro," and I've done Pyro, and Pyro for an Arsenal spec or an Arsenal type bounty hunter isn't nearly as fun as advanced Pyro is for a tank type. But nonetheless, I have been having fun. I have been wasting tons of money, obviously, between the cartel and paying for my account every month. So I'm still in there. I'm still doing it. I don't know what else to do. I'm looking forward to the expansion to give me more storyline. I'm hoping that one planet for 5 levels doesn't feel too much like a grind. But I actually got word from Nikki, our old buddy from WoW.
Yep.
Since the game went free to play, she actually went and re-downloaded it and was so angry over what they did with free to play, she went ahead and just started paying for it.
See, that's
So
how they're forcing people to do it, because free to play is absolutely fucking useless. So you get in, and it's basically free to play is a long trial basis.
Yeah.
How many levels is it gonna take for you to like this game enough to pay for it? That's basically what it is. Because you can't do shit. You cannot do jack shit as a free to player except for 3 PvPs and your regular questing. And I mean that's fine. If people that's what they want to do, it's great. It's gonna take you twice as long to get off planets and blah 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 blah. But if that's what you want to do,
I told her, I said, for those of us who've paid for the game, have had a monthly service, I still feel that free-to-play feels really janky. For the people who didn't have to pay for it in the first place, to pick it up for free, literally, or become a preferred member for $15, it feels just fine. I know what I'm when my account lapsed and I knew what I was missing. That's kind of when I went, hell is this shit?
Yeah. Well. And I agree. I don't like it either, obviously. But I just can't afford to pay this and the other games I'm playing right now. So that's just how it is.
All right. Well, I'm done reiterating what I did this week. We do not have a submission from Brutus this week. Hadn't heard a lot from him. He is playing, but he's on his primary server, as well as Kiwi and a few of our other our normal gaming friends. Pseudo's Nook apparently didn't get charged, and apparently she is once again mislocated her charging cord for it. So we don't have a Pseudo this week. So this week we're going straight into the news.
Straight into the news. See, a little heads up would have been nice. Hold on. Straight into the news as I die in
Here's your
PvP.
galactic news.
Waffles.
Look what you missed while you were sleeping.
All right, so this week in the news, a couple weeks ago we had a crowd control report from our buddies over at Darth Hater's website. The devs were nice enough to give us a State of the Games #2. And, of course, this week, as most people may have found out when they loaded in today, we also had a rather delightful 1.6.2 patch, which, of course, brings us more payable, moddable gear, as well as a all-new mixed bag box, as well as some deep discounts or some nearly deep discounts on a few items. I wanted to, talking about how much I had actually spent on the cartel coins and everything. I wanted to see where everybody sat. It says, as expected, the vast majority of respondents are still subs to Star Wars. Almost 90% of the nearly 2,500 people who responded to the survey said they still sub to the game. While this doesn't give us much insight into how free-to-play or preferred player statuses interacting with the cartel, it still provides a very interesting look at what subscribers think about it and how they are interacting with it. Full results of the survey and some additional analysis available below. Now, according to their survey, 89% of the people that responded to their survey are still paying for the game, which I think is a rather huge amount. Apparently, maybe EA, and mind you, this is 2,500 people that responded to their survey, so maybe the free-to-players haven't heard of Darth Hater's website. I don't know how they could have missed it. But according to Darth Hater's site, it says that 3% of the respondents were free-to-players and 8% were preferred-to-play people. It says, have you bought anything from the cartel market? 87% of the people said yes. Only 13 said no.
Really?
So, once again, yeah, it's us just double paying for the game.
Yeah.
It says, have you bought any cartel coins with real money? Well, apparently the 2,500 respondents, it's 50-50. So some people are just living off of the few coins they get from their subs. Other ones are just chipping in a few extra bucks. And let's see, they asked, well, how much real money have you spent on the game? 50% of the people said zero. The largest increment seems to be between $21 and $50, but there are people in the minority with up to $100, up to $200, and a very minute 5% over $200.
Really?
Which, yeah, that kind of gets to me because I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't. But it's microtransactions. You will inevitably spend more money without even thinking about it. If you spent real money on cartel coins, how much? Of course, 21% said 51 to 100, and then we had 30 at 21 to 50, and another 10% and 16 being 101 to 200, and 10% of the people in the survey, so about 250 of the surveyors actually had spent over 200 coins, $200 on coin.
Individuals or like an average?
Yeah. It's an average. Well, no, it's 10% of the 2,500 that paid for the money.
There's a sucker born every minute, I guess.
Well, now here's where we actually should have saved that comment there, Lanny. It says, what kinds of items are you purchasing from the cartel market? 80%.
Oh, buy the boxes.
The random boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you keep going. I think I've read this. Actually, I've read this.
Yeah. Some of them are using them for legacy perks such as ship perks and boosts. And then 33% said armor, and of course, the remaining percentages are there too. And these are people responding to multiple things that they had purchased. It's interesting because now I have used it for legacy perks and randoms. I've also bought weapons. I don't think I bought any color crystals because I ended up getting the purple pinks or the purple blue, pink purples out of the boxes.
Yeah.
16% of the people surveyed at the time said they bought Life Day items. 1% said they bought weekly passes.
Huh. For flashpoints or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 20% were looking at XP boosts, and 18% said ship upgrades. It says, how many cartel packs did you purchase? And it looks like the vast majority of people actually said they only bought like 1 to 5. No super number there. 26%, nearly the same amount as the 1 through 5s, said they bought 0, none. They didn't want any packs.
Oh, the ship packs?
1% bought over 100 cartel packs. So about 25 people in this survey had actually bought over 100 of those. That is a lot of disposable income.
Yes. Yeah, apparently. But like I said, sucker born every minute. And then the best part about it is, did you get... Oh, you're still reading it. I just love the fact that they keep going. This is great.
Okay. If you're trying to obtain a specific item from the cartel packs, did you get it from one? And let's see. Now, this is weird. 39% of the people surveyed said they hadn't even tried to get anything specific out of the boxes. So, I mean, if you think about it, so I spent $50 in real money to buy a bunch of cartel boxes, but I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I was just trying to see what all kind of crazy shit I could get.
Right.
Now, 43% of them said no. They didn't get what they wanted. Now, if it was a mount or something that was meant to be rare, then it's a given that you're not going to be guaranteed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do get the mounts that you get all the time are all of the ones that are kind of really basic. It didn't take a lot of programming. It was a respray or a slight adjustment from the previous one, a previous mount. Whereas the meditation thrones that people are trying to get, or the Overlord's throne, Overlord's throne, come out, very infrequently, but they're infrequent for a reason.
Because they're rare, and they don't want everybody to have one at this point.
I mean, if you've got between 1.6 and 5 million credits, you can get any mount you want on the auction house. However, that 1.5 to 4 million are the most rare mounts. So much like buying a car in real life, the rarest of the rides is the most expensive.
Right.
And 16% of people said yes, they did get what they wanted, so they were lucky enough. But that, once again, is about your odds of playing the lotto and getting what you were hoping for out of it. It says, did you get the item from the cartel packs that you wanted? 73% said no. 27% said yes. So about a quarter of the packs, which to me sounds about right. I wouldn't want 75% to get it and then 25 not to get it, because it makes it less interesting to drive around Fleet or planets. It says, have you sold any items on the auction house, or any of the cartel market items on the Galactic Trade Network? Myself, yes, I did. I sell anything I can't use or don't want to use.
Yeah. Right. And if you can sell it, I mean, shit, sell it.
Yeah, because in some cases you still can't sell the shit to the vendor.
Right,
so.
And people are buying it like crazy, so they don't have to spend their cartel coins.
And it says here 43% said yes and 57% said no. So there's 57% of these people that are actually buying the stuff because they wanted it personally, or they haven't gotten doubles of anything, so they hadn't thought or they just didn't think about it. It says, have you bought any of the cartel market items with the sole intent of selling them on the auction house? This one I think is interesting because on my side I'm kind of like, well, I want whatever I can get on the box. Whatever I don't want goes on the auction house.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, I hope I get X so that I can get it onto the auction house, but it's if I've got some extra shit, I'll throw it on. Let's see, hold on, where is it? There it is. It says 19% said yes, they had, so less than 20%. About 500 people said, yeah, I kind of wanted to sell it on the auction house. The remaining 81 said not at all. Let's see, these two questions show how people are using the cartel market to make credits on the GTN. The fact that almost everything purchased on the cartel market can be traded or sold to other players means that players can essentially convert real cash into in-game currency. Less than half of the respondents said they have sold cartel market items on the GTN. Only 19% have bought specific cartel items with the predetermined intent to sell it on the GTN. Okay, so out of this, it's 61% of the people were selling the cartel items from the random cartel packs. Armor, 46%. Weapons, 34%. Vehicles, 36%. Color crystals, 24%. Life day items, 8%. Weekly access, which is 2%. Access or unlocks, like quick bars or artifact licensing, which I've seen on the auction house for a fairly high price. At 9%, customization unlocks, that being hiding your head slot or displaying titles or legacy names, is at 3%. Content authorization, such as Section X, for 3%. XP boost, 26%, and ship upgrades, 10%. Let's see, last couple items here. It says, how satisfied with the overall implementation of the cartel on a scale from 1 to 5. Not much of a big surprise. The big deal here is 3 to 4. So satisfied but not ecstatic about it. 9% said 5s, 31% with a 4, 34 for 3, 13 with a 2, and 13% for 2, and 9% on is not at all satisfied. So. It's interesting to see that overall people are pretty satiated with the way they implemented the cartel market. How likely are you to purchase additional items from the cartel market in the future on a scale from 1 to 5? The vast majority of people are saying, yeah, they're definitely buying more.
Right.
So it's not, with 3% of the people that took the survey being free to play, 8% of the people that took the survey being, preferred. So more or less what you are supposed to be is preferred.
I am preferred.
Yeah.
And I caught the ball at the last minute. Woot, woot. And I scored. Woot, woot. At the beginning of the game, I told them, I said, don't throw the ball to me. I suck. And they kept throwing the ball to me. And then finally, they threw it to me, and I was like, all right, fine, fuck it. And I ran it in and scored, right? We only got 1 point. I scored it. And at the very end, they threw the ball to me, and here it is. I got the ball in my hand. So, yeah, we won Hut Ball thanks to me, which is pretty sad, means it's a pretty sad-ass team.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Now it says, how likely are you to purchase cartel coins with real money in the future? This one, not so surprising. 28% said that they're very, they're no frickin' way. 16% said
and
definitely.
I got no fucking VIP, you bitches.
You got no.
No, yeah, no. I got
no valor.
No VIP awards.
Mm.
Bitches.
Only score and they forget you.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Fucker.
Now we did have a state of the game, which I thought was interesting. I always think state of the game is kind of funny, because sometimes what they choose to go over, they went with 4 topics and had some secondarily stuff on there. I'm going to cover the topics as fast as I can,
okay.
But topic 1 was elder gameplay. It says, what is our intent to keep level 50s occupied? They're introducing new content and activities for elder game. For the elder game. Are
we elders now? Is that what they're trying to say? We're elders? Are they trying to call us old?
Well, we are. We're the oldest people in the game. Especially most of the 50s. And here's the thing, though. I want to point something out. Now, while we have seen a lot of the people we know, and we have varying levels of interest between the groups, the people that we talk to in Star Wars currently, being from I like to play I like to play a couple times a week to I'll log in sometime this month. As far as the friends that we keep, and this is you, me, the people we talk to in Vent, the people I talk to in other vents, the people we talk to outside of our internet community, and it's funny to me that the attitude isn't so much like a lot of people say, well, in-game content isn't what it should be. And I'll point out that in-game content in any game doesn't feel at all like what we want,
right.
Because there's the hardcores who say shit's too easy, but I see an unending amount of new guilds and new raiding guilds. The ones that were truly hardcores and got into the game right when it launched have pacified and went on to something else. Whereas there are new guilds constantly raiding.
Mm-hmm.
I told you in our last episode that I was with the guild that were just getting to the point that they could actually flesh out a full raid. Some guys, the last time I logged in, that were in guilds are no longer in them because either the guild disbanded or they just got fed up with the fact that they didn't want to raid.
Right.
So the fact that they're asking, what can we do? In-game content will, in a game that's linear like Star Wars really is, there's one direction to go. It's 1 to 50, or vertical as it's commonly referred to. There's only one direction to go. It's not like Secret World where there are no levels. You just amass tons and tons of skill points.
Abilities, yeah.
Right, and that's the sole purpose of the game. Now, once you get maxed out on that, that would entail in-game for you because you can't do anything else.
Yeah. Provided they don't add extra stuff. I mean,
right.
That's a different game. So.
Yeah, but as far as what they're doing for in-game, well, not a real big surprise here. New operations, new flashpoints, new PvP areas. With the digital expansion, they keep pushing. We get a higher level target, a higher level point. It says we have a plan mapped out for the upcoming year that will keep the Elder game fresh and interesting for players of all types. Overall, we are aiming at introducing a more diverse array of activities, more stuff to do with your companion, more challenges to tackle with groups, and more reasons for guilds to recruit. We will also be improving itemization, which is an indirect way of saying we didn't know what we were doing with stats. Just like every MMO when they first start out, they're giving out stats and they're not sure how they need to meter them out. They want to make sure that every piece of gear doesn't have the exact same stats on it, so it's not very flush. And they've got to decide how they're going to do it. I mean, when I was a hunter, I remember needing intel early on, and then I got rid of that, and then they got rid of bullets, and now I don't have a polearm, which completely confused me when I logged into World of Warcraft. But it says they'll be introducing new incentives to revisit existing areas, which is something that I say they've got plenty of space on these maps. They need to repurpose some of it.
So it's a freaking planet. They got tons of room.
Exactly. And a lot of other exciting ideas to be revealed in the upcoming year. World PvP. What happened to making Ilum better? What is going on with open world PvP? And let's be honest. We knew that when they tried to have a non-zoned area as part of a planet going on at all times, 200-300 people logging into that one little fucking section, no matter how large it felt, was going to cause massive server lag. And the whole reason they shut that world PvP section down is because people were crying about how they couldn't get out of their bases. Because
because of the piss poor design, it made it easy enough to pin the other team in, and they would never be able to do anything. So.
Well, if they would have given you the ability to control the cannons, and the cannons weren't just if the cannons weren't just decorations, basically,
right? Or gave you
you could have done something with it.
Or gave you some walkers, some mobile stuff to play with. That would have been good.
But our buddy Dev said we have not forgotten about Ilum.
They haven't forgotten the Cathar either.
I think you will see fairly soon the answer to the question in the game itself. Something big is coming on the western ice shelf, which means they're evading the old section and taking us to a different section.
The old section is just completely fucked. We can't do anything with it.
No.
Let's just redesign something else. That's
as for pure open world PvP, well, that's more difficult. A more difficult proposition. We are dedicated to providing excellent PvP experiences to our players, but we intend to focus our energy on PvP seasons and new war zones. And the war zone side, I'd rather see more war zones than I would.
Because open world PvP is really hard to. You have to convince people to do it, and it just doesn't work. Now big PvP zones work, but
open world PvP will be and always has been getting ganked or ganking.
Yeah.
There's no happy medium. There's never there's rarely a situation where you're going into a match and you're like, oh, hey guys, let's go and bomb on these guys.
Right.
There's no way to organize world PvP. That's why it ends up being things like when I think it was me and Safaro went on our pubs and we were running around ganking the shit out of imps because they were already in the Section X zone. We were just running around killing them with our HKs because that's what we were there for. They were trying to do a mission. We were trying to kill them.
Yeah.
And it's their buddy's fault because they provoked it. But it says we will be it says we will be experimenting with a different approach to open world PvP, something that encourages organic PvP, which we argued earlier really isn't possible, in contested areas in a new and interesting way. We do not look at massive open world PvP this year outside of what they mentioned previously. It is still on our design wall, but it is taking a back seat to other forms of PvP. Now, PvP seasons, I'm not a competitive PvPer. I do like to go in and enjoy a war zone, but I don't see a necessity for ranked seasons. I don't see a reason for the seasons. If they were trying to push with something like Battle.net had done with Blizzard's 5-on-5 tournaments once a year, then maybe.
They might be trying to work that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if they're trying to work it out so that you can do smaller team matches,
but you gotta
then
be able
that
to keep
makes
a team.
sense. Right. But if they're going to keep going with the idea of random ranked group, then it's never going to mesh, I don't think.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of new war zones. With the most recent war zone, the Ancient Hypergate war zone, I found that one to be really interesting. It is a nice change of pace. It's completely different from what I'm used to as far as how you have to attack it. Do I think that we need more like that? No, I think we need to. They still need to visit the idea of putting in the equipment. I think they should put in robots. I think they should put in armored vehicles. I think they should look at vehicles in general. Star Wars has such a rich history on all the vehicles available to you in game that there's no reason why they shouldn't reinvest in that. As far as Ilum's concerned, I could give two squirts of hot piss. Listen, Ilum PvP sucked in the first place. And I'm not talking about the organic PvP as they're trying to refer to it, which is, hey, we're in a zone, they're in a zone, let's kill each other. I'm talking about the section where, the whole point to taking it over was to get a small boost while you were leveling, or the Valor boost that you would only get, you would get while you were over in Ilum controlling it, and then boost up so that you could get your Valor points and you could get.
But you were only, it was only for Ilum though. If you went to any other planet, it didn't last.
If you queued for PvP on Ilum, and then you went into a war zone, you got double war zone accommodations.
That's handy.
And you got double Valor, so you were able to bump up in your Valor a lot quicker, utilizing that. But that was the only purpose to it. It's not as pointless as the Outlaws Den was, which is whoever walks in is going to die.
Yeah.
Because that was an utter frustration, because you had to go there for an HK part to purchase from a vendor there, and my nephew and I were going, and he's like, "Oh fucking shit! Why the fuck? We're the same fucking faction." And and that's exactly how it felt. Like, oh look, we're the same faction. You're just going to sit there bombing on us. Now, as far as other items, there's the copy. There was the copy character to PTS. Why is this? What is taking so long? It says the answer. As of writing this letter, we are in focused internal testing for character copies to for PTS. We should expect to see this come within the first part of the year. It will provide free character copies to the PTS at any time, with possible restrictions dependent on testing needs at any given time. So if they put on a new raid and you want your level 20 to go to the PTS, no. You know,
yeah, right.
If they want to test out PvP and you want to transfer over your level 50 that's super geared, maybe. You know, that's just the way it's going to be. Now, one of the things they do say, however, is it will provide free character copies to the PTS at any time with restrictions. This is also supposedly laying the foundation for the new live character transfer system that will be coming later this year. So even though they have, and see, this is the thing that I don't get, is we all live transferred to the new server.
Yep.
You know, when they condensed all the servers, it went like butter.
Yep.
Which means the system's there, which makes me wonder how much more they need to refine. It seems to be that it's just taking a backseat to something more important.
I got some new emotes coming out.
Yeah. Can I do frowny face?
I want to do grumpy cat.
Yeah. I want to do annoying orange.
Yeah, that would be a good one too.
Now, topic 4, of course, this was Kevin's favorite topic when we first started the podcast. Same gender romances. Any news on this front would be great, which I think is funny because at this point is that even it doesn't even matter.
No.
Now it says and their answer, of course. First of all, I want to apologize that this is taking so long to get into the game. I realize that we promised same-gender romance to you guys, and that many of you believe that this would be with a companion character. Unfortunately, this will take a lot more work than we realized at the time, and it, like some other pieces of content we talked about early this year, has been delayed as we focus on changes required to take the game free to play. As we have said in the past, allowing same-gender romance is something we are very supportive of. Secondarily, I want to reveal today that we are adding same-gender romances with some NPCs on Makev, which is our new planet, and do intend on pursuing same-gender romance options in the future. From more details to come. Now, honestly, guys, same-gender romance was really cool when the idea came out. I think that their inability to just drop the topic is because of our and this is social commentary, so mute me if you want. But it's just their need to appease the masses. Mm-hmm. I highly doubt, outside of geekdom, where we want to see two chicks hook up because we want to see two chicks hook up, that there's any need for same-gender romance. And you can say, they can say that we're excluding gays and lesbians, and I'm not. But you live it, do you have to RP it? If you don't live it and want to RP it, still, there are thousands of people in the game. RP the fuck out of it if you want. Yeah. They're not going to show you a clitolingus cutscene. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And even if you see two chicks kissing, no matter what, the screen's going to go black. Yep. And two digital characters kissing can be done in any other stupid-ass game like Sims and any other BS you want. Mm-hmm. There's no reason that they have to implement it when there are so many more important and, frankly, more interesting things they could be implementing beyond that. The ability to character transfer would be nice. The new PvP zones would be nice. There's a lot of other things that I think would take better precedent. Speaking of things that apparently take better precedent, that brings me to this week's patch notes. Yeah. So this week's patch, of course, 1.6.2. And here are the things that apparently take better precedent than character transfers and PvP. Cartel Market new items. Players can now unlock additional character slots for the small price of 600 Cartel coins, or roughly $7. The newcomer bundle is now available. It contains a wide range of items to help players expedite their travels. In other words, XP boost more than likely. It is currently on sale for 50% off because it's new. There are 2 new armor sets, the Interstellar Privateer and the Clandestine Officer armor set. Can now be purchased for the whopping cost of about $10 or 1,440 cartel coins. Now, Lanyard did check out the Interstellar Privateer. We both agree that it looks really cool.
It looks pretty slick. In my opinion, it's the best looking gear set they've got so far. So.
Yeah, and I mean it is very solo-esque. So if you're trying to get your early Han Solo on, I definitely approve of it. The other one, of course, being the Clandestine Officer's uniform, looks kind of like what a sniper would, a sniper class would wear, or a spy class would wear, in the event that they're going through dressing down or a ceremony. Outside of that, not that. I mean, it's nice. They do give you a full set. And because, once again, it does offer a bit of difference from what you're used to wearing, definitely a decent idea. They also introduced a new cartel pack, big surprise. Now, here's what I don't understand, and I do and I don't. I don't understand why they keep giving us new cartel packs when they could rotate out the random items that come in the current cartel packs. But nonetheless, the Skip Tracer cartel pack is here for the minimal cost of about $4 or 360 cartel coins. So not a bad bargain. They have dropped the price on my Gregorian axes to $245, a whopping 30% savings. Fleet Pass single usage for the non-subscribed is 33% off. The Life Day bundles are currently 35% off. So if you're missing the 400 coins and didn't buy it yet, that is available. You also have the Newcomers bundle. They're very aloof about that. I probably will end up buying one just to see what's in them. But I'm guessing it's things like XP passes, possibly artifact licenses, little things to bump you along. Maybe, it'll give you the ability to get your mount a little bit sooner, things of that nature that are very, very helpful. Now, they covered bug fixes kind of early in the list, which is always confusing to me. But bug fixes, it says unlock items no longer stack in your inventory. Greven's mask no longer clips through hoods on some body types. More than likely, that's those silly little the silly little Twi'leks and their Liku poking out of everywhere and causing issues. The appearance of the Phantom and Preceptor's armor now matches the appearance in the cartel market. So apparently, a few art differences there. The stylish Dancer's top no longer binds on pickup. Let's see, Satil Shan Hollow Statue and Darth Malgus Hollow Statue no longer allow for the use of Heroic Moment, which was something that I had actually heard from our buddy Brutus. They were out working on one of the world bosses. I believe it was the one in Section X, and someone realized if they activated that, they could use Heroic Moment at the beginning of the fight to offset some of the damage. Nice. Which is interesting. The Cyan Blue War Heroes Color Crystal now binds on Equip, so you can purchase those and use those, sell those on the auction house, or use them on your character, or mail them to your other characters. Using the Imperial Republic Fireworks item now cause the player to kneel down, which is interesting. I'm guessing they were just, doing the hand rocket deal at one point. Tinsel bombs now can be used on both friendly and hostile targets, so those of you who weren't paying attention in Hut Ball can now pick your target and throw a tinsel bomb on them too. Or those of you who got really, really bored healing in a raid can pop it on the boss and watch sprinkles everywhere. I do have to admit, though, that tinsel bomb is fucking cool. I don't care what anybody says. You can blue sparkle me till my balls fall off. It's not nearly as cool as the tinsel bomb. Because not only does it do this great sparkle effect when it hits them, but then it does a ribbon that swirls around them, and as they run around, or as they move, green and red sparkles it's fucking cool. Players no longer, Players no longer move when using fountain fireworks, so you can't just blow them off and run around like you've got a gigantic sparkler in your hand. Tooltips for equipment that requires the event equipment requisition authorization now update when the player unlocks the requirement. The Carbonate Chamber and Life Day Orb now properly regenerate ammo for troopers. Now, see, I didn't even know the Life Day orb was a regeneration. That's interesting. Well, now I like my Life Day orb a little bit more. Because I mean, when I was testing it out, you and I were just hanging out in the cantina, so how would I have noticed that? You know, wasn't taking any losses.
So it gives you health, too?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a regenerative. Like jumping into the carbonite chamber will regenerate your energy and everything.
Oh,
Apparently,
it's kind of like eating the cantina food.
Right.
For those people that don't regenerate health fast enough, like in 2 seconds, you're back to full health. Okay, cool.
Let's see. The remote control starship now regenerates health and energy pool when channeled. So that's cool.
Does my party Jawa do it? Because that's the thing I care about.
Dude, that would be epic. He just sits there throwing
health at you.
Heal, motherfucker! Heal! Heal! Ooh, did he? As far as general goes, it says character slot restrictions are now being enforced. Free-to-play characters are restricted to 2 characters per server. Preferred characters are 6 per server. Subs are limited to 12 per server. So those of you who apparently at 14, you have to choose a leg and cut it off. All players have global. Yeah. All players. Let's see. Well, it still says it's still limited to 12. So I don't know if 12 is going to be their max or 12 is their soft max before you buy more.
I don't know.
Let's see. All players have global activity character limit of 350 characters.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I understand that you can go good and evil on every character.
Yep.
But if you have 350, if you had over 350 characters, I don't even know how the hell you're breathing.
I noticed that at the bottom of the screen too, because it said you have 13 out of 50 characters available. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, 13. There's only 6. There's only 4 or however many I got on this. 6 here. And I was like, oh, those other ones that I don't fucking play. That's right. So.
Additional character slots may now be purchased from the Cartel Market. Each character slot will increase the number of characters a player may have across all servers by 1.
There you go.
Hold on, huh? But that just means on all servers. That doesn't mean you get an extra character per server. Okay. Each purchase will increase the number of characters that a player may mark as active across all servers. Let's see. The subscribers and preferred player base who have more than the current character limits will be allowed to keep and play all characters. No new characters may be created on the account until the number of characters on the account falls under the global active characters, the character limit for the account type, even if additional character slots are purchased.
See, this is why they can't get any real important shit done. They're trying to figure all this bullshit out.
That is entirely too much legal speak.
It's too fucking complicated. Just say, hey, free-to-players,
so,
have fun.
But that like says, even if I buy a slot, I can't get anybody till.
Unless you.
So basically,
you activate it.
Wait, I get it. So they're saying if you're above the current available and you buy slots, you still can't make another character till you have more slots purchased than you have characters to play with.
Right.
And if you have, what asshole? I'm serious. Who has 350 fucking people?
I don't. I'm surprised
I'm having
you
a
don't.
hard enough time with 12.
I got 13. I just don't play them all.
Well, but I play all of mine.
Your Tomb's the only one that's not 50.
Let's see. Under the character and combat, it says the Smuggler, Scoundrel, Scrapper class. It says flechette rounds, damage over time effect no longer interrupts a player's attempting to capture an objective. So, like most of the other damage over times, when the tick hit for the damage, it would actually kick you out of your channel. So now it is irrelevant. So you might want to spam, your main shot. It says Imperial Agents, Operative Concealment. Asset Blades damage over time no longer affects people's ability to capture an objective. It says here, companion characters HK51. HK51's Dagger Dicer is now available in his combat outfit container. Warning, rivals detected. Players are no longer prevented from restarting the mission if they abandon it. Players that were unable to reobtain this mission can speak to Bren in Section X to continue. Under Flashpoints and Operations, it says Flashpoints Kaon under siege. Optimizations have been implemented to improve performance inside this Flashpoint. The Infected Screamer's brutalized attack now respects the player's immunity to knockback, which is good, because that bitch is a pain in the ass. Under the Maelstrom Prison, the 5th Fleet Footmen and the 5th Fleet Gunners now spawn correctly during the Grand Moff's Kilren encounter, which is at the very end of the map. There are certain people that would spawn in, but they would take so long that you would already be over at the other end of the platform killing the Grand Moff. You had to turn around and go back because you were taking too much damage from them. X-37's oppressive power punch now respects the immunity to knockback, which is good because every one of the robots in that particular instance, or at least the gunnery robots, had a hell of a knockback. So the fact that it's respecting knockbacks will keep a lot of groups from dying if no one's standing directly in front of him. Under Operations, it says range timers have been increased by 1 minute for bosses excluding the Ancient Pylons encounter in Eternity Vault. In this operation for 16-man story mode and hard mode. And that makes sense. It's older content, so it does make sense to stretch that out a little bit. Warlord Kef in Explosive Conflict, it says Warlord Kefis's enraged timer has been increased to 5 minutes 30 seconds for 16-man Nightmare mode, which I think will be a welcome change for the Nightmare runners. Though I don't remember what the old one was. 5 minutes, 5:30, 4 minutes. I think they need to keep Nightmare mode as tight as they can on enraged timers. It doesn't need to be super bad, but it needs to be very close to the close to the chest, because that's the whole reason people are running Nightmare modes. The harder the mode, the more the reward, and the more you get a feeling of satisfaction from running Nightmare modes. Hard mode getting nerfed a little bit, yeah. Story mode being a complete cakewalk, which is what it should be. Nightmare really needs to stick to what it does right.
Absolutely.
Under Karaga's Palace, it says enraged timers have been increased by 1 minute for bosses for operations on story and hard. That's not so bad. I don't even remember if there is a Nightmare mode for that. If not, there should be one implemented. So if they're nerfing the story and hard modes, I think each mode should be nerfed independently. You don't want to you don't want the enraged timer to be exactly the same for story as it is for hard, because story should be the walk in the park that it is. Hard mode should be that buffering difference to get you used to really paying attention and really being on your A game. And Nightmare mode should be as close to the chest as possible. Let's see, Terror from Beyond, it says, the Gungan Lobel mini-boss now spawns correctly. I don't remember having any problems with that one, so I can't say. In the Terror from Beyond encounter, the unstable larva, hypergate beacons, and hypergate beacons in the first phase of hard mode, the hypergate irregularities now spawn correctly. Now those were, if I remember correctly, the irregularities were the little portals on the sides that were almost impossible to target, and I haven't seen anything to say that they fixed that problem, but whatever. Now under items, it said the Dreadguard's corrupted mask now uses appropriate voice sound effects in cinematics, which is always good. I don't want to be pulled out of my seat by some random thing that sounds like the guy from the Allstate commercial. The Devastator's double-bladed lightsaber now correctly displays 2 blades, so apparently you were getting half the blades for the price of 2. Legacy of combat abilities no longer can be used inside war zones, which really it shouldn't have been able to in the first place, so that's good that got fixed. Using priority transport, Capital World now properly advances mission steps that require players to travel to Coruscant or German Kaas. So if you portaled there instead of taking the ship down, now it'll match up on that, which is a good thing. Underneath missions and NPCs, we have missions on Belsavis being corrected in mass. The Section X date, a weekly mission no longer auto completes if the player has previously completed the component missions. So it won't auto complete the entire weekly mission, which is getting all of the dailies done, or individual bosses for that week done. Upon that point, you actually have to turn the missions in and then complete it like it does over in the Black Hole territories. Section X daily mission area has had some encounters removed and others relocated to provide easier travel between mission objectives. To me, that sounds a lot like, hey, we moved this shit so you don't have to worry about A, getting ganked, or B, running through an ass ton of mobs to get to your next mission objectives, which kind of plus minus. I definitely don't mind not having to fight, another 2,000 mobs to get from door A to door B. However, I think the PvP method should always be kept in there. Just because engaging in world PvP, while in some servers is an option, on my server is not, and is fun if I'm not just getting camped.
Yep.
March of the Dread Guard. Players now use the remote device recovered from nearby enemy NPCs to free all prisoners. Only 5 prisoners now needed down to be freed, down from 12. Which 12 wasn't that bad. I mean, literally, you get 5 right off the bat.
Yep.
I guess it does take a little bit more time, but let's not nerf dailies, guys. Let us work a little bit for the money. You don't let a hooker get away with giving you a little rub outside the crotch and then giving her $150. That wouldn't make sense. So, let us work for our money just a little bit. Not saying you got a spooge on our face, but let us actually get in there and do a little bit of work. Eminent threat. Only 8 escaped prisoners are now required for this objective, down from 16. This is a similar nerf to the one above. All these NPCs are in the same basic prison camps, so it makes sense, I guess, if they're nerfing half of it, to nerf the other half.
Yeah.
Let's see, under class missions, the Jedi Counselors, it says the find ancient weapons. Players now complete this optional mission after recovering the item from the chest, which is the component needed to make your lightsaber. The Trooper mission, Justice, an issue that could cause players to become stuck in the floor on the Justice mission has been corrected. Well, that's good. I always like to continue on with my day after completing a mission. NPCs, after Dreadtooth is defeated, Dreadful Resurgence no longer persists. Dreadful Essence must be used to increase Dreadtooth's difficulty. So it's just saying that after he's defeated, the off-putting effects will dissipate, as opposed to staying on there and killing you all after you defeat the boss, which would suck balls. Dreadtooth's difficulty when he is affected by 3 or more applications of Dreadful Resurgence has been decreased. So the once ultra-hard mode has now been stupefied a little bit. I remember when I was on with Brutus, he was actually telling me that they had, he was pugging it, and he was in like his 5th group or something, and he'd been trying to get Dreadtooth down all day because there was a mask that drops off of Dreadtooth that he really, 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 really wanted, and it finally, it dropped, and he didn't win it with the first group he was with. I think he ended up paying something like $600,000 for it. So that's dedication to shit. Let's see, it says the anti-griefing dread debuff applied to Dreadtooth now uses a shorter range, which means that you won't have to worry about getting killed
Handy.
as easily from the people that are just waiting for you to attack Dreadtooth. The shriek attack used by Dreadtooth no longer causes too many visual effects to be played each tick, so that's good. A little less screen huff. Under the PvP section, the Warzone's Ancient Hypergates, one of my new favoritist. As soon as I find some people who know what the hell they're doing. Players defending a pylon their team controls now gain defense credit over time, which is good. I mean, there is a small period of time, something like 2 minutes, for it to charge up once everybody starts clicking on the cubes inside. So it's good that they'll be getting some defensive medals. Not that everyone doesn't kind of go out, capture it, and run into collapse in, but it says transmission inside the war zone. Transmissions inside the war zone now use the appropriate voice effects. So once again, that's something where the wrong faction's hearing the wrong announcement. Players no longer gain attacker objective credit for finishing a capture attempt on the energy orb that has already been captured by another player. Under space missions, the cost of grade 7 upgrades from the fleet vendor, daily vendor, and starship upgrades credit vendor have been reduced, which is good because I bitched about that. However, interestingly, it looks like since the credit from the heroic space combat mission has been reduced from 12,500 to 1,616. So, holy shit. I mean, I could see where that kind of money, that's good for a space mission. That puts it in line with, selling a piece of garbage from doing your dailies.
Yeah.
Under UI, the unified chest armor color option now works correctly with for players and companions. Galactic Trade Network. Preferred players can now post 5 sales at a time on the GTN. Previously, they were restricted to 2. And under my favoriteest ever section of all time,
bugs.
That's right. Several items that were missing. Oh my God.
French and German.
We took 2 weeks off.
French and German.
2 fucking weeks off, and they still got.
We have corrected French and German.
Apparently, French and German translations have been corrected again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they're just throwing words in until it gets it right. They just keep throwing words in. Is that right? Is that right? Is that right?
For a company as big as this, you have Rosetta Stone. The FBI uses it. It's like $400. So those of us who are normal people can't afford it. But fucking buy it.
Or hire a couple of college translator kids. They got nothing better to do.
Yeah, import a couple of Deutsch and Frenchies and just have them sit here. Does this read right? It says a rare issue that could cause premium and or preferred player to function as a free-to-play player temporarily has been addressed. Well, that's good. Using stuck now kills the player without penalty when using on a personal starship. So people like poor Kiwi who kept getting stuck in his center console because his game client crashed no longer get penalized for getting stuck.
Or they could just fix the stucks. Oh, no, wait, couldn't do that.
Well, that is everything.
Is that all of it?
Yeah, thank God.
That's 16.2?
That is 16.2. Now, it's interesting, I mean, I'm still wondering about this BS with, the same gender romances. I do understand how they would be interesting, but from a purely pervert standpoint, all I can think about is I can get porn on the internet.
That's it.
Dual box it, buddy. 2 screens.
That and they want to make the what's it?
You almost said transgendered.
Yeah, I almost did. No, I was thinking the little group, the GLFTBL, whatever it is.
Lesbian, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Listen, I understand the idea. There's
not another game out there that does it. So why the fuck worry about it? Do you see Val running around with?
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine 2 male Taurans? 2 male pandas? That'd be like, oh my god! I've actually seen the equivalent of 2 male pandas. I was in this head shop one time.
Orcs.
I was in this head shop one time, and these 2 guys were actually walking in holding hands. Big, burly trucker fuckers, just like pandas. So I guess that could work out for them. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could get a couple of bear troopers running around holding hands.
See, and I was thinking more of the female Draenei.
Yeah. Well, maybe. But, I mean, I would...
That's getting some tail.
Oh, God. You take control. But, I would think more along the lines of how about we stop limiting the species interaction.
Yeah.
You know, I would have liked to had Naga save all her abilities so that she could, you know, romance Zalek. Or,
whichever NPC
you know,
wanted
a female trooper.
Yeah, just get rid of the single Kenny thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't restrict who I can be with. Period. With the kiddies, let's not focus on calling it same genre romances. Let's just call it multi-species romances.
Yeah.
Because one, you get that past all the hardcore Bible thumping Christians.
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, we just wanted to make it equal for everybody, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, and you get around having to say yes or no to it for, you know, the people who are strictly in there because they're liberal and they want all of their abilities all throughout the world,
right?
Gaming and otherwise.
That wonderful utopia, yes.
Yeah, and
that never is going to happen.
As much as I enjoy dystopia myself, you know, let's think about it in contrast to the game. You know, if we're going to say same genre, why don't we just, you know, same gender, why don't we just say same, you know, multiple species? Because we have tons of species in the game, both from the perspective of, you know, characters that we can't play, NPCs that we could possibly romance, that are completely mundane in the game, to our kiddies or our companions, you know, where I would absolutely love to see something ridiculous like, you know, being able to romance HK-51, or, you know, in the Imperial agents, I think, get a female droid.
You know, Scorpion or whatever.
I mean, I can't imagine anyone trying to go to town with the droid that the Jedi Sentinels get.
Or the trooper.
The R2 unit. I can't imagine that one.
Or the trooper.
Oh my God, that big two-legged walker! Oh, dude, that'd be fucking three-legged walker. That'd be hilarious. Yes, I'm doing it just for the Republic.
The fourth leg drops down.
I'm truly built better than the rest.
Now
you'll find out.
You got a droid in there? No, honey.
The vibrating bed's messing up again. I knew I should have bought.
Trying to fix the hollow.
But, you know, I mean, there's a lot more fun things that could be had in there. You know, and there's a lot more characters. You know, I mean,
well, like for instance,
that was one of the things. Like Kevin and I
never got along with the damn Cathar that she got. I hated that son of a bitch off to begin with, and I liked the very last one we got, which was, I don't remember his name now, Talek or whatever. I always thought that my character and him got along so much better than the Cathar guy.
Yeah.
So.
And don't get me wrong, there are some of my female characters and their companions are attractive. But you know, there's somebody trying to figure out how to take one of those guys, those Talos guys, the ones that the bushwhackers. Fuck, your guy, one of your characters has it. The guy that's just a complete fucking mothball.
Oh,
right? You know somebody's trying to go for some furry action. So there's one guy trying to romance a Wookiee on his female character, and there's another guy going, man, I wish I could romance this guy. That'd be fucking awesome.
There's always somebody doing shit like that, yeah. Yeah.
Right, so there's no reason that we should focus on the gender so much as we should the species. And either way, this is going to cause for some major rewriting and programming because they've already got the softballs in there.
Yep.
In some cases, taking that softball side out and removing the romance option or the inability to romance may actually alleviate the problem shortcut.
Yeah, that'll make it easier. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, there are some characters I really don't want to even imagine romancing, but to each their own. It is it is an extraterrestrial game. And Zalek, he can go to town on my withered crotch anytime. I'm sure Naga would love the shit.
Nothing to do with him. In fact, she didn't even want him as an apprentice. I wanted the damn Twi'lek, but no, it wouldn't let me do it that way.
Oh, dude, wasn't that such a kick in the nuts?
Yeah.
Like you're in there and you're like, I don't like him, and he ends up being, you could like him, you could dislike him, you could try to kill him, and it
doesn't matter. He's yours. I'm coming on the ship with you. I don't want you on my ship. Well, I'm going anyway. Oh, okay. What kind of a Sith are you pushover? Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole reason he's there with you is because you're the baddest ass Sith on the planet. You've already killed your, last 4 bosses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn your way. but you know, that's the kind of stuff that I think of when I think of what could we do with romances in the game, and I think that would really benefit us more than it would to be focused on that. Am I happy that they're going with the Western Ice Shelf on Ilum? How much time do I really spend on Ilum? I'm literally there unless they're going to somehow incorporate dailies. I don't even care. I mean, you know, because inevitably they're going to roll the idea that the Hutt cartel is now trying to take over the crystal mines so that they can blackmail us on both sides.
Yep.
You know, oh well, if you don't give us money, you know, you don't want to pay money, we sell them to the Republic. You don't want to pay us money, we give them to Imperial.
Right.
You know, and the best thing I can imagine them doing is inventing a green like really slimy green color crystal and making it look like your lightsaber dripped, and then it would be worthwhile to do some dailies for the fuckers.
Every time you swing it, the shit goes flying off.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. You just see stains of puke everywhere.
Yeah, give them something like that really important to work on. Thank you.
Well, I mean, fuck. It's better than trying to say, oh, well, we're going to, you know, work on another cartel box, which they're going to do anyways. Hey, there you go. You get to throw the slime ball crystal into your next cartel box. Call it the Sith obliteration box.
Good name.
Yeah, well, you can when you hit people with the lightsaber, they look like they got spit on by Slimer from Ghostbusters.
They've already got an effect like that. It's slow. You got hit with it.
This way everybody could green goo on somebody's face. But, you know, I don't know, man. I like the idea of new matches. That makes me happy. Whether or not they ever get around to finally doing a ranked or seasonal-based PvP is irrelevant until they announce that they're going to do something really special with the armor. Because that's the thing that a lot of people are focused on. If you're in PvP, you went from War Hero to War Hero Super Elite status, and your gear just changed colors. Yep. You know, there's a lot of people who just got the War Hero Elite gear and then put the mod to the War Hero gear because they like the old color better than they do the new color. So, you know, it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. I do like the new mounts. I would like to see a compendium of the newer mounts that were coming out with this current package, but being that it's day one, there's not going to be enough models out there. I'm sure I could check the auction house and it'll have them there for sure.
I think Coruscant and the other
Dromund
Kaas, the main cities, they need to have a somewhere in the city. They just need to have a used speeder lot where it has like all of them. You know, all the ones that you can ever get, and like the epic ones are there, but they're used, right? So they're like a little beat up, and like they're not as fast, but you can have the fancy, you know.
I mean, like the meditation throw with the dice above it. It only has 2 dice, and
it's sparking a little bit. You know, the big Corvettes are, you know, maybe one of the pylons is busted off, or you know, it's got bad paint job on it or something. Or maybe that square
Dominator's Throne. The Dominator's Throne. Yeah. Instead of the Sith symbol being up there all the time, it can flicker and change colors.
It
could be like red or purple or screw up occasionally and be blue.
Every now and then, Hello Kitty pops up. Yeah.
It could be like the Hello Kitty outline, but with a Darth Vader helmet on it. Like, oh, dude, that'd be great. So imagine if you could buy that used at a Republic. We'll call it the Republic Junkyard.
Right.
You go to the Republic Junkyard on Coruscant, and you buy the Imperial Death Throne.
Actually, this would probably be on the Hutt Cartel planet, because it's they would be there. It would be there. That would be where it. And then you can get cross faction stuff.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you can get one of those trams from Corellia. You know.
No. Dude, now see that, and this is going to sound stupid to some people, it'll be sounding excellent to others. Kevin would love this. Ready? Okay. They had something similar. Wow. There should be a toy that you can pull out, sit on the ground, and it puts a little engineer's hat on. You go choo choo. It could be the Corellia. It could be the Corellia transport. Yeah. Right.
Then of course, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to get the little droid that comes and smashes it.
Right, you got to get an at that comes by and right. Right? That's fucking awesome right there.
Now we're thinking.
See, always thinking
now
right there.
We're thinking now.
That'll get me to buy 100 cartel boxes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's another $40.
But I mean, there are other things that I could see. I'm glad that they say that they're working on new in-game content. I don't expect them to change. I never expected, or I never look at an MMO expecting them to change in-game. I am fairly appeased by how in-game ends up in most MMOs. It's very vertical. Do I wish it was a little bit more horizontal to it? Of course I do. Do I think it can happen? No. Although I have seen what happens to games that stay vertical and peak. Mm-hmm. And it's scary, to be honest. And I don't mean like they peak because, this is the maximum they're ever going to be popular. Because there's still people picking up Star Wars. There's still people I talk to on a daily basis. They're like, I heard Star Wars went free to play. I'm thinking about getting into it. What classes? They're always asking me questions. Yeah. And I understand that. And that's cool. So I talk to them as much as I can. I don't expect them to plateau in the sense of let's introduce some things like, okay, well, now that we have, your level 8, we'll say we'll double the level, get close to doubling the level cap. Now that you're this level, you can not only spec into damage, but now you're a healer, or you're a tank and you're a DPS. Yeah. That's what hybrid speccing's for, and I prefer it be that way. That amongst all other things, the ability to customize the little side items, or the things that make your class integral, I think those are the most important to me. Being able to get the collections and stuff, that is really stuff that you do with 50, man, and I like it. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to go around collecting mounts. There's no reason they shouldn't give me goofy toys to preoccupy my...
Because there's nothing else to do until you get more storyline.
Right, and now if you try to find a way to reinvigorate storyline, that being, okay, well we've invested time and energy, we've given you another 25 hours worth of missioning to do on old planets with your companions.
Yeah.
That would
bring up some of the other companions. I mean, shit, we get what, 5, right?
Yeah.
5.
Well,
5,
you end up
6.
like 6. You end up with 7 after each case.
Right.
Considered.
So I mean, and we get one storyline with one character at the very beginning of your leveling. So there's potentially 6 other stories that you could have right there. Come up with their background, do some things with them. I mean, they have storylines in when you're talking to them. But you don't get to go do anything with them, and I was really like with what's the devil dude?
Galt.
Huh?
Galt. You're talking about the bounty hunter, Galt.
Galt, yes, Galt.
Yeah.
He kept coming up with some stuff he wanted to go do, and I so wanted to go do that with him as the bounty hunter. And no, I got this. It's like, but what really fucked it up was, no, I got this. I'll be gone for a couple of days. Black screen back. Oh, you're back. What the fuck was I doing for the last 2 days? Sitting in his bedroom waiting for him to show up? I was like, you'd think that maybe he'd go away and then you wouldn't have him for a couple of days, and but whatever.
Yeah. All right. And if they're gonna, even if they did something, even if they allow for them to disappear for a little bit, it would be nicer if they allowed them to disappear for a little bit, then come back and bring me shit. Like, what are you doing? Going on vacation? You didn't bring me a T-shirt?
Yeah, right. What? Yeah, I went to tattooing and all I got this fucking T-shirt. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and some of the other storylines were good, where your companion got hurt, or where that stupid kid that really wimpy Mandalorian got kidnapped. I mean, that was cool because you had to go save him.
That gave me so much expectation.
And then running with all your companions at once, which was cool. Mm-hmm. If they could do some more stuff like that, I would come back if they give me more storyline. But I don't know what there's going to be for 5 levels. I mean, that's 2 days worth of running. I mean, that's it. And then now what?
It's very questionable. I mean, I understand that they say they're going to try to incorporate the old planets and they're going to try to give us more companion missions, which is great if we get everything we got from our prior companion missions. Right. It has to be subtle storyline, and they're going to have to figure out whether or not they make it adaptive to where you're going to these areas, but the NPCs will adapt to be closer to your level.
Yeah.
Because if you try to do this and they say, oh, whoops, we implemented it for just 50s. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
then as you're leveling up, if you get that mission because of, either that or they're going to have to get it to where you only unlock those missions if you get to 100%, 100% of their affection.
Right.
So that's...
And only for non-free players. You want to unlock this mission? Give us $20. We'll unlock this mission for you.
We need you need a companion alone time access card.
Right.
What? But yeah, I mean, there are some things, and they're still fine tuning. I would like to see a little bit more respect paid to the preferred players. From what I said, like I told you earlier, from what I've seen, free-to players who had never gotten into the game, had never thought about getting the game, and just getting into it were enamored and doing it, enjoying themselves there. So I don't see any problem with it. Preferred players really need to kick it up a notch as far as giving you guys respect. Either taking some of the leashes off. You did invest $60. Up to the people who went, preferred status that were collector's edition guys. And yeah, you did get a lot of nice merch. But it's really not helping you guys when it comes to, feeling like you got your $180 worth plus whatever you've been paying for X amount of months before you finally quit, or you gave up, however you want to put it. I consistently pay for mine, and I feel like I'm getting a good amount out. I would like more storyline on my side. I definitely would like to find that I can go back to other planets and do missions that are at my level. That would be nice. But I want to see the new planet. I want to see how they address the companion missions. I would really, really like to see a new war zone, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
I haven't seen the new war zone.
I've seen it several times in the last couple of weeks.
All I've seen is Fuckball.
Wow, really?
Fuckball and that ship one.
Yeah, when I was on Hot Chocolate, I got into the new war zone and I got raffle stomped, but I had fun.
Yeah, good.
We lost, but I had fun. I actually got VIP votes because I was actually healing people.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying stealthing and then unstealthing the heal and then going, oh shit, they're going to attack me and stuff.
Stealthing out again, yeah.
But
healer, awesome.
At this point, we're gonna pop out of the game the game side of things and remind you guys that this weekend we do kick off the new show. What did we say we were going to call it?
I don't remember what we were calling
Name
it.
in progress.
Yeah, work in progress.
Naming in progress.
Work in progress.
Name still loading.
In progress. We don't know. Something. Yeah.
I still think it would be funny to call it for all the people who play EA games out there. I think it should be called Game Crash because I have 2 PC games out of the 3 that I own that are all online and 2 out of 3 blow up every couple of hours.
Game Crash,
I hope that what Brett went in and he team viewed and fixed a lot of stuff on my computer. So I'm really hoping that my EA games run a little bit smoother now because he actually was going, oh well, this can affect EA's games and this can affect EA games. And I was like, oh my god. Mm-hmm. But we do have our new game coming out this weekend. What we'll probably do is post it both on our SithTalk site. So that you guys can get it from there, and then we'll have a secondary feed in so that we can link it to the secondary site on Podomatic. I'm kind of up in arms. Kevin still wants to call a secret passage. Please, somebody post anywhere on any one of our forums and tell him secret passage sounds like a gay sex website.
Well, so did Mixed Nuts.
Mixed Nuts did not.
Mixed Nuts sounds like a
two guys in a controller sounded that way.
Yeah, so did 3 was it whatever I came up with, 3 Guys Review.
Yeah,
so 3 Guys Review. 3 Guys Review. Mixed Nuts. Secret Passage. We don't have it. It just sounds gay. I'm sorry. We might. We might as well just call it the Rainbow Bright.
No.
Yeah.
No. I used that name generator that Kevin gave me, and I actually told him that I actually saw one that came up, and it was Beta Anomaly, and I went, that is entirely too hard to say.
It's too hardcore too.
Welcome to this week's Beta Anomaly. Wait, that actually kind of works. We'll figure out some fucking name. But right now it's Name in Progress. At least that's what we're going to go with. Title in progress,
something
name in progress.
Like
Whichever one is easier.
Look for it on the SithTalk. If you come up with a new show on the SithTalk YouTube site or Podomatic site, That's it.
Yeah.
White Sword is also going to be posting it on his White Sword TV as well to get some more generations.
And I do want to thank everybody for downloading in the weeks we've been in hiatus. We were at about 1,600 downloads through RSS and subscription. As my nephew.
Yeah, it's fine. We're almost out of here.
Oh my God! Tell me that didn't pick up on the thing.
He just farted?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh God! You're this week's Wookiee, Michael. As my nephew brings me more tea.
All right, more tea.
But hey guys, we thank you again for supporting us as always. We will be here as long as you deem it important to you, and we will be here more importantly until you guys tell us to piss off. Once again, we love all the support we get from our fans, and we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dedekar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at SithTalk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/SithTalk. And of course, our Gmail is SithTalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.